Okay, welcome back, my friends. In this video we're going to show you how to find a Freon leak. Now this refrigerator, this is an old Sub-Zero model 361, and I got this refrigerator on a trade-in about 12-15 years ago and didn't need a freezer, so I converted the freezer to a wine cooler, and I'll show you how I did that. I drilled two 1-inch holes in the wall up here behind this plate so that when the fan is on, it creates a negative pressure and will suck the air out. And then I also drilled, I don't know if you can see it, there's two 1-inch holes down here on the bottom. In there. So that sucks the air, circulates the air. Yeah, get that in there. Okay. There's nothing on this side. It's just I just put some cedar boards in here to make it look nice. Got these racks. I found them somewhere, and that's how it works. But this refrigerator will not shut off. It's running continuously, and in the past 6 months, I've put Freon in it twice, so I know it won't shut off. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to find the leak, and I think I know where the leak is because it's got a Vulcan lock ring on there, a connector on the evaporator coil. What I did was I took a compressor and a heat exchanger from a 700 TR, which is basically the same size, and I used I think a 561 evaporator, and I had to use a lock ring to modify the evaporator, and I'm pretty sure that's where it's leaking from. So what I have is I have my soap bubbles, I have my ultrasound, I have my sniffer, and I have my tools for seal system work. I have nitrogen. I have another evaporator coil over here, which is a 793/66. It's a smaller evaporator, pretty much the same size as the 561. So I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to empty it out, and we'll take it apart, and you can see what I did. Oh, you see, all that frost buildup is because there's not enough Freon in the system. So you can see this is a model 561 evaporator. I had to trim out these ladders over here to get it behind there, and there is a lock ring right there. I think that's where it's leaking from. I'm using the regular thermostat that came with it. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take the grill off the top. Now this is a stainless steel grill that I modified to fit this refrigerator. Basically, all you have to do is remove the little pins on the top here that keep the old grill aligned, and just use the spring to hold it back. Okay, get our gauge. Like I said before, I took a compressor and the heat exchanger from a model 700 TR. There's the compressor's an EMI 30 HER, which is a very common 1/8 horsepower compressor. It's 300 BTUs. The condenser from the 361, I still use that. Okay, we got 45, 50 pounds back pressure. Now, probably what I should first do is melt that ice. First, we'll try the sniffer. See if we can pick up traces. I mean, I'm almost positive that we have a leak at that Vulcan fitting. Now, I could be wrong. May have to pressurize it with nitrogen. All right, not getting anything there. So we could use some soap bubbles. I don't see anything. Hold on. See a little light on the subject. All right, let's put some nitrogen in the system. Okay, what we got? I got 60, 75 pounds back pressure here. There's another lock ring in here. Up. Picking up something here. Yeah. Okay, let me pull this evaporator off the wall so we can just verify it with the soap bubbles. Okay. Now this lock ring fitting has come apart. So, there's the bubbles. See? That's where the leak is. I knew I had a leak. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to cut this evaporator. We're going to evacuate the system. We're going to take the Freon out. Then we're going to cut this evaporator out, and we're going to try that new evaporator that doesn't have lock ring fittings on it. Okay, so let's get set up here to remove the Freon, whatever Freon is left in there. Didn't even need the nitrogen. I knew it had a leak. Okay, I don't think this is going to fit, so let's move this over here. This may not fit. I think I need a smaller evaporator. It's not going to fit. That's the reason why I didn't use it last time. So that's not going to work. There is a smaller evaporator. And that's the reason why I didn't use this in the beginning. And now, you may have to put another lock ring on there. We got, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4.5 ounces of R134A, because this is an R22 scale, and I've got these little graduations here. Each ½ inch is an ounce, so it's on the 4 for 22, but it's actually up maybe 4 1/4, 4 1/2. That's, you can't get these columns anymore, so you have to get by with what we have. So now, since I don't have an evaporator, how am I going to put this in here? It's leaking down here, so I could unsweat this and put a longer piece of tubing in here. This one's okay. I could try to solder it. I have done it before, but soldering copper to aluminum is not easy to do. All right. So maybe what I could do is turn my other refrigerator on and put all this stuff in there and get another evaporator. I think I have a new 561. See, you can see that's turning. That's loose. Okay, let me work this out. Okay, update on this now. I found another evaporator coil. This is also from a 561, but this evaporator coil is all copper. It's not aluminum like this one, so I don't need to use these Vulcan lock rings on here. See how I modified this to work in here. There are other evaporators I can use. There's the Sub-Zero model 661, which is a 36-inch side-by-side, and the BI 36 side-by-side have smaller evaporators. They use 5/16 tubing like this. This is 3/8. So I'm going to unsweat this, because obviously this evaporator is, I don't have to cut it and put a fitting in there. You see, it's got enough tubing. So what I'll do is I'll unsweat this piece out here. And by the way, when I put this in storage, I seal these lines off so no moisture would get in there. That's one of the things you don't want to do on a refrigeration system. And I'll unsweat these 2 pieces of tubing here. I'll cut this here. We'll cut this there, unsweat this here, and then we'll put this other evaporator in there. Okay, so stand by. Okay. We'll make sure that that's open. And this here will go into the trash. Now, of course, I could fix this, but I don't think it's worth it since I have that other evaporator there. So. Okay, so now we're going to put this like this, and hopefully we will have enough capillary tube here to fit in there. Otherwise I'm going to have to cut this short, move it up, and then re-drill the holes. So let me see. That's going to go in like that. That's a little short. I want to get it in maybe about that much. So what I'll do there's two things I can do. I can either cut this down and swage it out, or I can cut this up a little bit, which might be easier to cut this. But first, let me unsweat these two, and then we'll move on. Let me get a pair of pliers. Add some oil in there. You see the smoke coming out? I don't want the smoke alarm to go off in here. Okay. Now what you're going to check that, make sure that that's clear. And I have a little tool for that. It's a this thing's still hot. I have a little drill with a 1/8 inch drill bit there. Okay, so now I'm going to let that cool down a little bit, and then we're going to cut a couple inches off that tubing right there. So let's get our tubing cutter here, and also let me turn down this music because I don't want to get into trouble with Google. Just want to get enough extra capillary tube on here so I don't have to modify that cap tube, and then but we'll have to re-drill the holes. And I also took the rail off the right side because it was hard to get the evaporator coil out, and I'm pretty sure that I did that when I modified this refrigerator. I didn't use all the screws. I couldn't get them in there because of the evaporator. So you can see I cut a little notch out of there. And like I said before, there are other evaporators I could use in here, and I just don't have one in stock. And this is my own refrigerator, and I want to get this thing back up and running. Alright, let's get a little sandpaper here. Yeah. Alright, so let's get in here. Now, if you're a tech, you know every time you open up the seal system, you have to change the dryer. And so I bought 1,000 of these dryers a few years back from offshore. I got to tell you, you can't work with them. You can't bend the tubing because it's so thin, it kinks. So I have this older style dryer that I bought years and years ago. I found it in my shop, and I'm going to use this instead of that. But I can't wait to get through this batch that I bought because I will never buy those dryers again. They're just not up to my quality. Okay, now let's, okay, I can see that's not kinked. You want to make sure that this capillary tube, when you cut it, that it's not kinked, because then you'll have a restriction. I mean, this capillary tube has got about an 80 thousandths wall. When you buy the stuff offshore, the tubing is so thin, it kinks. I don't know what the big deal is. Why they save money, make it cheaper if it's thinner? I mean, better thermal qualities, yeah. What good is it if you can't work with it? Okay, now I'm going to take my little tool. I want to make sure that this is clear. Okay, I'm going to get my little screw gun here. I got a feeling this is the solder clogged this up.
Another thing I can do is I can heat the torch at the same time. There it goes.
Let's get a little light on here. Looks clear. Blow through this. Nope. That is not clear. Okay, back to the drawing board here. Let me get something to put on the floor here in case this thing drips out. Yep, there's solder in there. Okay, let me rig something up here and I'll get back. I'm going to blow this out while I'm heating it, so to blow out the solder. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. The air hose. You know what? That's going to go right on my hand. Okay, that's clear. Okay, I got it clear. I heated it again and blew out with the hose. Got plenty of flow now, so there's no restrictions. And I also drilled it out with this little 1/8 bit. So now let's get a wire brush here. Clean this out. Okay, some solder, flux. This is what I use, silver brazing flux. All right. Might have to heat this thing up. There's some solder in there. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah, got it. pushing it up a little higher. I take a wet paper towel, cool that down. Okay, now we have to get this in there. Definitely going to have to drill some new holes in here. First, I want to get this in there. Try to get it in all the way down to the bottom, and be very careful not to put too much solder in there. Okay. That's as down as far as it's going to go. I'll be very careful not to pull the solder in. Don't really need much solder. You only need the diameter of the cap tube, which is what? Is that a 1/16 of an inch, 32nd of an inch? All right, hold on. I gotta put something against that back wall to prevent it from burning up. Okay, so wet towel. What we'll do now is, before we attach this evaporator to the wall, we'll change the filter dryer. And then we'll pressurize the system with nitrogen. It's really hot. Okay, now let's get ready with the dryer. Okay, I'm going to unsweat this up here. this is an old Supco dryer. I used to buy these all the time. I mean, these are much better quality than the ones they're making today. Better, thicker tubing. Okay, let's take our wire. Supposedly this is called a capillary tube cutter, but okay, take that. Let's check the. Okay, we're just a little crimp in there. Sometimes it's better just to score it like this and then break it off. Okay, that's good. So I'll get a piece of sandpaper. This one has already got solder on it. We don't really have to clean that. We'll just put some flux on there. And let's go down now and prepare the new dryer. Can't do that with those dryers. You just can't bend them like this. They kink. Can't tell you how many of those I threw out. Of course, I only paid $1 a piece for them. I bought 1,000 of them. Okay, we're gonna swage this out with a 1/4 inch. I think this is already missing a Schrader valve. Okay, so get one of those. Okay, once we get this off here, we'll just get a little, where's that here? Should be okay. That's clear. Now we're going to take our lock here and put the 1/4 inch in here like this, and then we're going to open it up so it fits right in. Let me get this okay, 1/4 inch is right here. Okay, we're going to need a Schrader valve here. Put that in after we solder it. Alright, that's ready to go in. Here's the old one. It's a Supco SUD111. I think that's what this is. SUD111, so that's a Supco. It says where it's made. Made in PRC. Don't know where that is. Oh, People's Republic of China. Well, they used to make them good. Now they make them like that, so. All right, let's get our flux. Turn on our light. Okay, I'm going to want to push that in a little bit more. I'll use the paper towel. The dust. Nope, do not want to do that. There it goes. Okay. I could add a little bit more heat to this, but I don't want a big flame because I don't want to have a fire here. Okay, that's enough there. Alright, that looks good to me. Okay, so now we'll put a Schrader valve in there and we're going to pressurize it. Let me go get my nitrogen tank and I will be right back. Okay, now let's hook up our gauge. Now, it might be a good idea to use a high side gauge instead. Just to pressurize it. So I've ruined gauges sometimes by pressurizing the compound gauge. Okay, something wrong here. Like 150. Says 180, 190. It's pretty close. Okay. Let's get the trusty soap bubbles. Let's check our solder joints. We got a leak there. You see that bubble? In that bubble, got a leak. Okay, back to the drawing board. Let's drain out the gas, the nitrogen.
Come on. All right, we'll pressurize it again. Let's see where we're at. Looks good. Looks good. All right. Let's check the rest of the dryer, just in case. All right, that looks good. I'll check this again. I think we're good. Now we're going to drain the nitrogen. Pull a vacuum. And while we're pulling the vacuum, we'll put this thing back together. Now let's go get a vacuum pump. Okay, so
Let me get this light set up here. Now, it's always best to pull a vacuum on both sides of the system. So I have one side hooked up to the dryer, which is the high side, and one to the compressor, which is the low side. And then just want to wipe off this soap bubbles here. Alright, so we'll turn on our dryer. Our vacuum pump. Open up our valve. And let that run. Suck any air out of there. Boil off any moisture. And in the meantime, we're going to work on getting this set up. I'm going to have to drill new holes because we moved the evaporator up. Let's see where that is. There it is. Drilled this little hole in my needle nose so I could press this in here. Get a nice bite. Okay. Put 2 more screws down on the bottom. I'm going to check that rail. Make sure we can get this rail back in here. Okay, that should fit. It's going to go like that. Okay, that's good.
So the oil in this trough here, that's an indication that you have a leak because it's leaked out oil. Well, we know we had a leak. But if you ever check these old style 361s, 561s, when the evaporators leak, a lot of times you'll get beads of water in the trough, and that's a good indication that there's a leak. It's pretty straight. Drill a couple of more holes. I'm missing a couple of screws. They probably fell down. Okay, let me get a couple of screws here. It's a spacer here. If I can get my fingers under there. Okay, the spacer, the other spacer kind of disintegrated, so I don't think I have one of those. Doesn't matter. God, this is so tight here. Okay, so the other day we pulled out, let's see, we got 3 ounces on the R12 scale. Let's see what we have here. On the R22 scale, about 3 ounces. On 134, I know you probably can't see that, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 ounces of Freon R134A in this charging column. So we're going to put this back in, and then we'll recharge, we'll add Freon to it, because I'm not quite sure how much Freon this unit takes with this whole new system in here. Alright, so let's just purge the air out of the hose. Okay, let's turn it on. Put it on number 4. Open that up. And while that's doing that, we'll clean up and get organized. Okay, so we let this run for a couple hours. We're running about 10 pounds back pressure. Our temperature is 30, maybe a little bit above 30, 32. It's a little cold. I might have to adjust the thermostat down a little bit. We don't need it that cold in here. But anyway, the system's working okay. It's back to normal. I'm going to take off my gauge, put the grill back on, and that's it. So I just want to double check up the top, make sure we don't have a frost back, because I didn't know the exact amount of gas. Suction line's not cold. Everything looks good. So that's it. That's how you find a leak and fix it. See you next time.